Hello readers, our next book of the day is titled The Herd Boy, written by Nikki Daly. The Herd Boy. Wake up, Maleizzy, Mama calls. Inside the hut is still dark. Outside the air is cool and the sun is rising. First a red rim among the surrounding hills, then turning to gold as it rises and starts warming the village. Mealy pap is steaming in the pot. Eat up, says Mama. A boy cannot work on an empty stomach. Maleizzy looks after his grandfather's sheep and goats. It's a big job for a small boy. Wee-wah, wee-wah. Maleizzy's shrill whistling drives the sheep out of grandfather's kraal. By the time they reach the grazing slopes, the earth is hot beneath his bare feet. Maleizzy shields his eyes against the sun's glare and looks up. There he spots a black eagle flying in wide circles high in the sky. He places his feet carefully as he moves through the bush, where puff adders doze, coiled up and unseen. He keeps the sheep and goats from straying towards the deep donga, which is easy to fall into, but hard to climb out of. You have to be awake and you have to be brave to be a herd boy. Along the cross, a troop of baboons gather. If they come down, he will use his voice and a handful of stones to drive them back. Woof! He hears Coco barking. That means his friend Lunchtime is only a shot away. A shout away. Lunchtime is older than Maleizzy and has his own dog. Sometimes they meet and play games while the sheep graze. Lunchtime always wants to play two-man football and stick fight. Maleizzy likes a challenge. Coco jumps out of their way as they kick up the dust. Shoo! Yells Maleizzy in the middle of the fight. I'm hot! So they take a break while he removes his blanket, slowly giving him time to plan how he might win a few points. But he never does. Lunchtime is the champion footballer and champion stick fighter. Still, Maleizzy is a quick learner. He knows he must keep his eye on the ball and move out of harm's way during a stick fight. It's lunchtime, and Zuleika, his older sister, brings their lunch. Every day it is the same thing. Boo-boo, a sour milk of curdled milk. Every day it is the same thing. Boo-boo, a sour mixture of curdled milk and mealy pap. He and Lunchtime always eat it all up and scrape the tin bowls with their fingers. When I grow up, says Lunchtime, I'm going to play football for Bafina. Bafina. When I grow up, says Maleizzy quietly, I'm going to be president. Lunchtime laughs so loudly that it sets the baboons off. Wahoo! Wahoo! They holler back. So Leica collects the bowls. Maleizzy is clever, she says. He can be anything he likes. Maleizzy is glad when Lunchtime appears into the dip to join his flock. Maleizzy likes being on his own, just him and his shadow. Silent and as still as a mountain, he watches the ground, where 2 columns of termites are on the march. Esh! Such hard workers, all working together. If he sees one on its own, he feels sorry for it and says, Himba, go away, little Gaga. Go and join your people. Push, push, roll, roll, push, push, roll, roll. Maleizzy smiles at the dung beetle. Maleizzy smiles at the dung beetle who never gives up. It rests in Maleizzy's shadow and then pushes on into the harsh sunlight. It reminds Maleizzy what he must still do. Collect some fresh dung to give to the shopkeeper, Dingy, who will add it to the soil in his garden. In return, Maleizzy's mother will receive some fresh vegetables. He practices his counting as he scoops up the dung pebbles. Knee, 1. Mubitni, 2. Nafa, A, Ta-u, 3. Until the sack is filled. Ha! We know! Ha! We know! When he looks up, there's an old bamboo sitting on a rock, and it is much too close to the baby lambs and kids. Maleizzy shakes his stick and shouts, Himba! Himba! Go away! The bamboo is thin and looks hungry. When he opens his jaws, he is missing one fang. Still, Maleizzy does not like the look of him, and when he climbs suddenly off the rock and moves forward, it is time to shout much louder. Lunchtime! Lunchtime! Coco! Coco! His voice echoes off the cross. Now the bush is filled with Maleizzy's cries and the bleating of the frightened herd. The baboon is among the sheep and goats. If he does not take a young one, he will scare the animals toward the donga. Maleizzy moves cautiously among the flock with his stick ready. Then he spots the baboon's tail, hears the cry of a lamb, and sees the dust of a struggle. Maleizzy! It's Lunchtime coming with Coco. Coco smells the bamboo and dashes in between the frightened animals, who clear a ring for the fight. Lunchtime and Maleizzy push themselves forward, ready to help Coco. But there is no fight. Coco's blood-curdling growls and bared teeth have changed the bamboo's mind. He lets go of the bleeding lamb and scuttles back up the slope. The lamb is injured, but still alive. Maybe Grandfather can put some medicine on its wounds and make it better. For now, Maleizzy wraps his blanket around the little lamb and pats Coco. I wish I had a dog like you, he says to the panting dog. He's like baby Jake, brags Lunchtime. Maleizzy has to agree. Coco is short, but very powerful, like the famous boxer, baby Jake Matt Lula. The heat has gone out of the day, and it's time to go home. Lunchtime offers to carry Dingy's dung so that Maleizzy can carry the injured lamb. Coco barks at the herd, driving them down the slope towards the dirt road that leads to the kraal. Yes, mother, we are hungry. Is the fire burning? Is the food cooking? Yes, mother, we are returning. Maleizzy and Lunchtime sing this song along the dirt road. Then they stop. Look, said Lunchtime, a car is coming. Maleizzy sees it approach in a cloud of dust. They move the sheet to the side of the road, but the car does not pass. Instead, it slows down and stops. Who has such a shiny new car? Wonders Maleizzy. Slowly, the back window opens, and an old man with a face as lined as the cross smiles at them. Mulwini, greets the old man. Molo te tankula, the boys return his greeting. He tells them that when he was a young boy, he also wore a red blanket and looked after sheep. Maleizzy looks at the beautiful shirt he is wearing now and quickly looks down. So, what do you boys want to be when you grow up? Asks the old man. To play for Bafina. Bafina, answers Lunchtime. Maleizzy is too shy to answer, so Lunchtime answers for him. He wants to be the president, says Lunchtime, giggling. Then the old man sees what Maleizzy has been carrying and says, Ah, a boy who looks after his herd will make a very fine leader. So la Kale, Mr. President. The sun has dipped behind the hills, casting long shadows across the veldt. The soft padding of hooves on clay making gentle music. Voices can be heard coming from the kraal. Maleizzy hopes his grandfather will not be angry because he has brought home a wounded lamb. Surely he will know that Maleizzy had done his very best to save it. Maybe the little lamb will survive. Before bedtime, Maleizzy's grandfather brings him a pup. Gingy sent this for you, says his grandfather. I'm told that Coco is his dad, so those baboons had better watch out. Maleizzy smiles and opens his blanket for the pup to crawl under. All is well. In the darkness of the hut, Maleizzy repeats the words of the old man. A boy who looks after his herd will make a very fine leader. Then he closes his tired eyes and falls asleep. Oh, little boy. Where a dream is waiting to be dreamed.